Hello, hello. How is everybody doing? It is November 15th, 2023. It's about 9 p.m. right now, and I'm going to record another late night talks video. Oh, what should I call these? 'Cause I really don't have a specific agenda in my videos when I record. Or what should I name these kind of videos? It's just going to be, I'm going to create, I guess, kind of just random updates throughout my journey. And I guess today we'll talk about more of who I am and a little bit about my journey up until the point where I am now. So a little bit more context for anyone new to the channel. My name is Leighton. I'm 20 years old. I am an up-and-coming entrepreneur learning how to build a social media marketing agency, and right now I'm about my first year into learning how to create a proper SMMA, social media marketing agency. Right now I have about 4 or 5 clients in the roofing niche, and I'm just documenting my journey. My story kind of starts back into entrepreneurship. I guess I could probably take it even back all the way to elementary school or middle school. And growing up, I've always been I was always a problem solver. I'd always want to go out of my way and do the things that I love to do. Basically do anything that I liked doing or enjoyed doing that gave me gratification, with 100% effort, essentially. And I grew up being good at multiple different things. Some of them being like fixing things, working with technology. Growing up, my parents would always tell me that I was a great troubleshooter when I came to fixing technology, and that paradigm kind of stuck with me, so that led me to create YouTube videos when I was younger. They might be on my channel now, they might not be. I think some of my old videos are still on here from probably 4 or 5 years ago when I was in high school. But I took those skills with me. I got into recording YouTube videos, basically these little gaming videos of me playing like your 2016, 2012 games like Happy Wheels or Bob's Burgers or whatever it's called. I don't remember. But up to that point, that's what I was doing in my childhood. I had a great childhood growing up. I was friends with 2 or 3 or 4 different guys around here, around the neighborhood. I had a great childhood growing with them up. So if you guys are watching, I hope you guys are doing fantastic. You guys know who you are. And honestly, man, our childhood was something out of the ordinary. There's a lot of things we would do it from. It would go from like playing airsoft to ding dong ditching to doing like the most reckless type of activities. Man, I don't even know if I can get into some of the things we've done back then, but it was a fun childhood, definitely one you see out of the movies or TV show. And I would love to get into that more into my future in-depth about me videos or my life journey, but this is just a little recap of my life and who I am and where I am today. So that's kind of a quick recap of my childhood. I know it's not a lot, but these videos are going to be short, and I'm unscripted, unplanned. I'm just going to be talking my head off and seeing what stories I can come up and tell, so you guys are up to date with who I am, where I'm at, and a little bit more about me if you guys didn't know much about me in the first place. So I guess from there my childhood went on to going to middle school, and in middle school I was in the entrepreneurial side of things. I was really getting into it was towards the end of middle school. I was getting into drop shipping, or it might have been 8th grade through freshman or sophomore year, but I got into drop shipping around that time, and I met one of my close friends around that time, and we were essentially looking into the business model. I've tried affiliate marketing, I've tried a couple of other business models, but it essentially started with drop shipping. If we take it back to elementary school, you see I'm missing steps here. This is all unplanned, just recording everything at the top of my mind and figuring it all out. So I guess in elementary school I've had like lemonade stands in the past. I've mowed lawns. As a matter of fact, mowing lawns was one of my, I guess, first, I would say, side hustle businesses as a kid. Everyone, you go through that little phase, or at least I'm sure a lot of you have gone through that little phase when you'd go around your neighbors' houses and mow lawns. man, like now you don't really see that kind of stuff anymore, but that's what we did back then. And I had this red Razor dirt bike, and it had this metal cart. It was like a wire cart, and I put like a weed whacker in there, and like a gas can, and I would wrap the lawnmower around my waist and ride this little scooter. You can imagine me like riding in a, like what, like 10-year-old, not 10-year-old, but like 12, 13-year-old me riding in a scooter or like a electric dirt bike with a lawnmower wrapped around my waist and a basket attached to the back of it with a weed whacker. And it was like two, three, or four of us. All of my close friends, like I mentioned before, we would go around the neighborhood, knock on doors, and ask everyone if they needed their lawns to be mowed. And it was at a point where we had reoccurring clients. We had a business. I could call it a business. We had reoccurring clients. There was this old lady that lived about a mile from here. It'd be a mile walk. And it was close to a Fred Meyer's where I live around here. And we met her, and she was like the nicest lady ever. She had the most overgrown lawn that I've ever seen. And she became our first ever reoccurring client. And this is the time where, you know, it wasn't a lot of money. It was $10, $20 every time we mowed her lawn, but she always gave us extra. She was very nice about it. And I hope she's doing well. That's when I realized that this money thing is easy if you really put your effort and mind into it. And these are the little paradigms and views of life that I've shifted into my mindset now, which has taken me up to this point. And so that's kind of where I guess my origin of making money came from. And from there, like I mentioned earlier, was drop shipping and a little bit of affiliate marketing. Yeah, I worked on drop shipping for a little bit at that time, and I've sold women's hair care products, I've sold anime lamps, sold like a bunch of these little gadgets. We didn't make much out of it, but it was fun and it was an experience. At the time I was young, I was in high school, and I didn't really know much. It was more of like you were sold a dream because you watched like a TikTok or an Instagram video or YouTube video of someone else. It's like, yeah, drop shipping, you make millions of dollars doing this, which you can. It's still a viable business model. I don't know too much about it now, so you cannot take my word for it. But essentially, that's what I did back then. Was I, focused on drop shipping, and from drop shipping, it went over to doing investing, and I learned a lot about invest. I spent months on end learning how to invest in like your crypto coins, your pump and dump coins, anything in investing. And this is when I had the realization that investing wasn't something that was necessarily for me at the time. Now, don't get me wrong, investing is a great thing to do to build up your assets and build passive income. But the thing is, I probably had $500 to my name. So you can imagine, like, yeah, I'm not going to be making much with $500. I need to make more money to invest more so that I can use my money to make more. And that's when I decided to go back into drop shipping. Now, this is towards probably around senior year, was when I met Zach. It's like sophomore, senior year, I met Zach. And we started drop shipping again. We started, he was drop shipping like these shark slippers, these Happy Feet. We called it Happy Feet or whatever. I don't remember. But I think I was selling anime lamps or these glow-in-the-dark sticky balls where you could throw out the ceiling and it sticks and it falls back down. But that's what we were doing at the time. And at the time, I was a fucking degenerate, dude. I was doing drugs, drinking alcohol, going to parties. I was just doing jack shit. The time is, which is, I don't regret anything that's happened in my past, because it's the reason why I'm where I am now is because I've gone through the learning experiences and the things that I've gone through in the past to get to where I am here today. And oh man, there's a lot of stories that I want to tell you guys going into this, but I'm just going to give you a quick recap. Like I said, these are unscripted, unguided. I'm just talking to talk so you guys know more about me. But man, back then I was a degenerate. Like, I had no sense of direction in life. I mean, there was times, like I said earlier, I would be doing drop shipping, and I would be doing like these little business things that kind of stemmed from my childhood of wanting to make money and not having to work for people. Now, going into that, like it went good for a while. I went for a while, but it was around the time where I was like a degenerate, right? And all I did was drink. All I did was party. All I did was do all these stupid things that get you nowhere in life around, especially that time. And I really had nothing going on. um, at the time, I was working at a go-kart facility here in Sycart. I've learned a lot from that place. I'm very grateful for that place. Made tons of memories there. From there, well, actually, let's start from all my jobs. So I've worked at Taco Bell. I've worked at Sycart, which is a go-kart place. I worked there for like a year or two. I worked at Taco Bell for a year or two as well, and then from there I worked at Dave's Hot Chicken. That job lasted only a couple months. It was terrible. And then from there, I went on to working at Fastlane. Now Fastlane it's an oil change place, and you know I have always been into cars, especially since high school up until now. I'm still into cars. I drive a Subaru WRX. It's modified and tuned on full bolt-ons, running on ethanol, and I've always been into cars. Right now, it's one of the hobbies where I put on pause because I have other things that I need to worry about rather than cars. So I'm definitely going to get back into that hobby later in the future. But that's kind of where things are with that. I worked at Fastlane, and from there, around the time actually before Fastlane, I worked at Discount Tire. Now, physically demanding job, especially at the time I was bulking in the gym, so I had to eat like double or triple the amount because of the amount of calories I was burning working at a tire shop. But that was a physically demanding job at the time, so I had to eat 2 or 3 times as much. And so yeah, after Discount Tire was Fastlane, and actually I started my whole journey for social media marketing agency around the time I was working at Discount Tire. And the story behind me starting my current business model now was kind of taken back to what I said earlier when we started. I started going back into drop shipping around my degenerate phase. This is around the time when I got into drop shipping again. I really started taking life seriously again because I sat down and I really thought about it. Was Zach and I. We sat down and we thought about like what the hell are we doing? Like what do we want to do with our lives? And we really thought about it and we were like, yeah, this is not it. So it started with us having that conversation, and then it started us with deleting social media. It started with that. Then we started going to the gym a lot harder. At the time I was already going to the gym, but I wasn't going very hard. Zach started going with us. Matthew, if you're watching this video, what's up, Matthew? Matthew's a part of our journey as well. Matthew is actually the one who introduced Zach and I together. Matthew's one of my childhood best friends and brothers. And so essentially Zach and I sat down and we talked about where we wanted to be, where we were, and our current situation. And we knew that we didn't want to be the current people that we were. We wanted to take things to the next level. Now, what we did, we started going to the gym, we started eating healthier, well, actually not really. We had Costco pizza every day. But yeah, we started going to the gym, and then we started doing drop shipping, and then while we were learning how to drop ship, Zach actually found a YouTuber called Iman Ghatzi. Now, some of you may have heard of him, some of you haven't. Especially if you guys are in the business, you've probably heard of Iman Ghatzi. He's a hyper influencer around business and making money and living the laptop lifestyle. Essentially, he found out about Iman and he found out about social media marketing. And when he first told me about it, I was really, really intrigued because it was something that was pretty new at the time and not many people were talking about it. I was like, okay, this is new, shiny object syndrome. We hopped on the train, and this is what we're stuck to now. So from there, we actually found a guy named Max Pearson. Now, if any of you are in the social media marketing agency space, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. He is the godfather of free courses for SMMA. So if you guys want to get into SMA, I suggest you guys check him out. He's a great guy. We learned most of our fundamentals from him. So shout out Max. But that's where we were at the time. And from there, we spent like three months learning about SMMA before we actually started working on the business. And it shouldn't have taken 3 months, but we've procrastinated throughout the way. And from there, we started building it out. Now, as we started out, things were great. He had this course where you could watch all his videos. He tells you what social media marketing agency is. You go through his course. He teaches you how to use all the softwares and how to find clients and outreach and all of that stuff, which I'll get into that in the future for you guys for sure. These are all little teasers for all of my future videos to come to document my life journey. But this is just a little bit of an update to tell you guys where I am now. So after we got started on that, I started outreaching. It was 2 or 3 months in where I started prospecting for clients. I signed my first client. His name was Jordan. He worked for a flooring company, and it was the most interesting thing ever at that point. And I can't tell you guys those stories now, just little teasers. I'll tell you guys about these stories in the future. Signed my first client around that time. After that, it was like 2 or 3 more months again, and it's a really stressful journey learning the ins and outs of business, accounting, prospecting, client acquisition, marketing, sales, all these things. But it's all going to be worth it in the end. And from that point, it led me to where I am now. Zach moved away, and he went to Atlanta. Then he came back, and then we partnered up. Essentially, I was doing a flooring agency. He was doing insulation, but we decided to ditch flooring and insulation, go to roofing. Don't know what. This is one thing I'll tell you guys. If you guys are ever doing social media marketing, pick one niche and fucking stick to it. If you niche hop around, it's just a waste of time, and just don't do it. That's it. So we came together, picked a niche, decided, and from then on, we've grown from 0 clients all the way up until about 4 or 5 clients now. And now we're currently building a new product for the agency. I can't tell you guys what it is, but other than that, this is the end of my random nightly update. I'll see you guys later.